delivering instruction through Zoom, which we'll do till in-person resumes, subtracts all the nuance that, well, you know who wants to make learning a joy in her classroom. I'm Heidi Marks Morris, and I started teaching high school in 1995. Despite nominal retirement in 2015, I've been in the classroom ever since. I'm writing a book about what I've learned in my career because I want to help others experience the connections and joy that I have found in successful teaching. It's called Teaching Matters, and you can sign up for news of it at my website, marksteachingmatters.com. I suppose every profession has its share of annoying professional jargon. Words that seem sometimes designed to obfuscate rather than elucidate the concepts that they describe. One of my least favorite in education is the term delivery of instruction as a synonym for what goes on in a classroom, otherwise known as teaching. Delivery of instruction conjures in my mind pictures of a postman making deliveries of mail, tangible objects individually packaged to one person at a time, and that person receives the delivery very passively at his or her own desired time because the mailbox sits there holding what has been delivered. When instruction is delivered, then, the equation would say, teaching has occurred. And throughout this experience with distance learning and distance teaching during COVID, I have come to resent that delivery of instruction term even more, because that's what distance teaching is. It is delivering instruction. It is not teaching. It is not connecting with and building and educating students. But it has given me frequent opportunity for reflection on what is missing from this distance teaching experience. And this is a shocker. What's missing is a classroom. I had always taken for granted what a classroom contains as pertains to individual instruction, but also as pertains to collective experience. I'm going to reflect on those two halves of the whole today in what is missing when we take the classroom out of teaching. In the distance learning model, the teacher and the student are individually connected via a computer screen, and the teacher delivers instruction, and the student, one hopes, receives it. But what is missing is so much of the rest of the verbal interactions that make up a classroom. The first I was to notice was the student to teacher response. I don't hear their feedback. I don't hear their responses to my questions, to my jokes, to my stories, to my examples. I have to hope and assume that their responses indicate comprehension, agreement, enthusiasm, whatever. But also missing are the student-to-student interactions, whispered side conversations that might have nothing to do with the lesson or might have a lot to do with it. Spontaneous rhetorical questions, under the breath commentary, and thousands of other verbal exchanges that fill the air in a classroom that make it an environment of learning, of growth, of exchange of ideas, and enjoyable. All of that is erased when the classroom is removed. We cannot teach, that is, we cannot deliver instructions if everyone's microphones are on in 30 remote locations with all kinds of ambient background noise. I understand that, but I miss it. I mourn its absence, and it saps the joy of the teaching and learning experience. But more than simply missing the words of teacher to student, student to teacher, and student to student exchange, is missing the body language, the leaning forward with eagerness or with anticipation, craning around somebody's head to see better, and other body language things that say, this is important to me. I want to grasp whatever is being presented. Also missing are the chin in hand, droopy eyelids expressions of kids who are too tired, too bored, too exhausted to engage with what's going on, that let me know I need to do something differently, if not with the entire class, at least with that student. All of that body language is gone when the people are gone. I don't see it, and the students don't see it in each other. There's no sense of community in working together for learning. And so far, everything I've talked about that's been subtracted from distance learning is that delivery of instruction impact part. Getting my message across in a way that is effective for the students to receive the information, the facts, the algorithms, whatever the lesson is. But all of that delivery of instruction is only a part of what education is about. More and more, I have come to mourn the loss of human interaction. In a classroom, students are forced to deal with other people, some of whom they like, some of whom they don't like, some of whom they know well, some of whom they've never met. Because of all of us sharing airtime, space, resources, we learn patience with those who are slower, admiration for those who are more skilled, tolerance of those who are annoying, and 1,000 other social skills that teach us compassion, empathy, and humanity. In the distance learning model, it is becoming more and more student-centered, as in each student chooses what is most convenient, most advantageous, most timely, most desirable for her or for him. I need to work, so I'm going to tune into the lesson at midnight, fast forward through the lecture, grasp the essentials of what I need to complete the assignment, and call that my education for the day. But I've said it a million times, completing the homework isn't the only point. It is part of the process, and it is expected, and it is what teachers ask and what obedient, diligent students do. But all of those other experiences in the classroom, the human experiences, are lost, and there is no replicating them, even in live instruction online, because we don't see and interact with each other. The classroom provides the water that lifts all the boats. It puts us in a school, literally and metaphorically, a school of fish swimming together, adjusting, reacting, journeying to a destination. A classroom gives us space because each of us has sacrificed, prioritized, and chosen to be here with this particular subset of the human race for a fixed amount of time to engage in a particular task together. And that investment does not get replicated with online, on-demand learning. If I have chosen to show up, gotten prepared physically, mentally, to be here in a classroom because other people matter and my learning matters, it's an entirely different reality than propping myself up on one elbow and clicking an on button on a screen. How I yearn to return to a classroom full of students who are present physically and, I hope, mentally and emotionally as well. We learn humanity in the world of public education. We are forced to accommodate difference. We are forced to acknowledge other truths, other realities. We are forced to negotiate preferences with others' preferences. I understand that there are many flaws in public education, and the imperfections with regard to respect, rights, race, 1,000 other things, they are undeniably present. But so also are we missing out on the uplifting parts of humanity. I mourn for those losses, and I yearn for our return to in-classroom learning as the norm.